I think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not.
I was going back to his, cinema history to see where I knew him from, but I couldn't I couldn't piece where I would have picked up his name. Definitely not from Death Warrant.
Yeah. I was I thought for sure because of the Dark Knight Returns or Dark Knight.
Maybe
all
it was
that Batman shit.
Yeah, maybe it's from the Dark Knight trilogy. It must be, because I can't see anywhere else where he would get like notoriety where people were like, hey,
Yeah. Unless you were reading Jeff Johns' JSA comics, probably Goyer's not really gonna pop out to you. But like honestly,
unless it was Blade, it might have been from Blade 2.
Oh fuck, he's been at it that long. Oh my
yeah, he did the entire Blade trilogy.
Oh fuck. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, Dark City from fucking 1998. He's also responsible for Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. starring David Hasselhoff.
Oh wow, fuck. Okay, so he's a hack fire. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, man, the guy's he's a machine hack. Oh no, Kickboxer 2. Why?
Yeah. Well, you gotta, getting back to machine hack. That's pretty much that.
He's also responsible for the Sandman right now.
Yeah, and I didn't actually know that, but it makes a lot of sense. He's a good hand to bring in for your property. Like he respects the material. Even though his involvement with Man of Steel probably would, in some eyes, argue. I think he was involved with Man of Steel, or maybe it was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I think some people would argue that he's not respectful of the material. To those people, I would say, go fuck your mother. But yeah, I just don't care if they're respectful to the material. Like it's not really, but still, I don't know. He can just be trusted. Like you give him a property and he's not gonna like embarrass you. Although maybe with Kickboxer 2 he did. I can't speak to that.
I don't know about Kickboxer 2. As a person who's like guilty of probably the worst, taste in overall, like I got a bad history for the 90s, and late 80s in terms of like old school American kung fu movies that I enjoy. It's a guilty pleasure. It's a subgenre kind of thing, but but there's like some things that I just didn't go down. Like if you started a franchise with Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme or Dolph Lundgren and you couldn't keep them in it, like you fucking strayed too far.
Yeah, no, that was the thing, right? Like you're like, okay, well we've already been to the bottom of the barrel, so what are we doing here, guys?
Like, yeah, exactly. Like I'm sitting on a steaming pile of shit watching a tire fire here. I can't go any lower. I just won't do it.
Yeah. Although as we learned from the Sniper franchise, there might be some gold in them there hills. So.
Oh yeah, you mean like if you just follow the runoff deep into the sewers, you find an oasis. This
yeah. You're just like, something's been fertilized by all of this, and it's beautiful.
Oh my, it's a raspberry farm. Fuck me.
So yeah, Goyer's the raspberry farm of Hollywood, I think.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. It is interesting though, like how strangely influential. I don't know if influential is the right word, but like at the center of all of it. And it kind of makes me want to read one of his scripts and just see if it has any magic to it whatsoever, or if it's just workman as fuck. And I'm betting workman as fuck, because most of the movies were like those Batman movies. They they were fine. They had their moments. They had some really excellent moments. Let's not kid ourselves. But it's mostly due to the actors. It's definitely not because of the story.
Oh, also, like, I mean, like, any of the, like, a lot of those movies had probably some of the best directors that could helm high budgets. Like in the business. So
Yeah.
if you have those guys, if you have fucking Snyder, if you have oh man,
Guillermo.
Yeah, you got Guillermo del Toro. You got
You got your Christopher Nolan.
Nolan.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
I'm just saying, if you have those people, it's great. If you don't have those people, you got Death Warrant.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got it. Like, I can't imagine. And I understand that. I feel that Goyer's brought in just to like give structure to fucknut scripts because he's always like in those big movies. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he gets co-writing credit. I
saw a bunch of those. TMNT cartoon movie from 2007. They're like, special thanks to David Goyer.
Oh yeah.
For wiping the shit off our scripts.
Yeah. I think he just comes in and he's just like, look. I've been doing this for a while. You can't film that. That doesn't make any sense. This angle is fucked. How are you gonna film that, guys? Just the hard-earned experience of writing something that doesn't work out at all, and then kind of reverse engineering to find out why it sucks shit. Although we're giving him a lot of credit.
Yeah. You're giving him a fuckload of credit, which I like. That's fine too. We can give him some credit. Give him the love, you know.
Yeah, and until we know otherwise, David S. Goyer, you're a real mensch. You're just
a man among men.
Yeah, Extinction Agenda approved.
Yeah, we should give that award out more often.
Yeah, that's true. Well, not a lot of this. Yeah, I guess because then what would happen is Dan Jurgens would get Extinction Agenda approved, and then one day we'd have to answer for that.
All you have to do is listen to the episode, man.
Yeah. Sometimes we talk ourselves into some weird places. We're like, oh yeah, man, this is amazing.
Hard to refute that 1.5 hour conversation about fucking the reign of Superman.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been reading the news lately, and I'm getting reports about children. I understand that something's killing the children, James.
Something is killing the children.
Yeah, sure as shit.
I'm going for a first ever here. Extinction Agenda, walk up the stairs to get my book. I forgot. So
it's actually just the audience knows that this is not your first time doing this, but
no, I'm actually upstairs. It is, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, geez. In the meanwhile, I'll talk about who created this little fella. We got James Tynion. I always thought it was Tynion, but then I went and looked it up because a friend of mine, Jason, shout out to Jason. He said his name correctly, and I was like, fuck, I guess I better figure this out.
Tynion. Oh, yeah.
Tynion.
Like Tyrion Lannister.
I guess so. Is that, let me guess. Is that Game of Thrones? Is that a Game of Thrones?
Nice.
Okay.
Nice one.
James Tynion was born in 1987, so he's younger than us, and I think it shows. He came up under Scott Snyder doing Batman backups during Snyder's run on Batman. He came up before that as an intern at Vertigo. He started working in comics in 2013, and then since he hit the big time with Scott Snyder's assistance, this dude's been pumping out fucking books. Like, his bibliography on Wikipedia is much larger than I thought it was going to be. He's a working man.
I like that.
Yeah, and and one of the things he's very good at is winning Eisners and selling his independent comics for television production.
Well, that's fucking impressive, really.
Yeah.
The guy's just he's just fucking, he's out there dropping trout, just giving her.
Yeah, he's hustling. And then I don't know much about Werther Dell'Edera. But I understand. Werther? Oh, Jesus, can't read my own.
Werther?
Yeah, it's Werther. There we go. But yeah, they're Italian apparently. Maybe they're from deep northern Italy, maybe on the border. But anyway, I don't know anything about them. They don't have a Wikipedia page, and I fucking looked around and stuff. Didn't get a whole lot. They've got a web page you can buy like their mini comics and stuff, but Werther's pretty solid in and of themselves. And I also want to shout out to the who's the fucking colorist?
Miguel Muerto. Yeah.
Yeah. He's from I think Argentinian or Barcelona. Sorry. That's fucking great coloring.
Really great mood. He said the whole book's got like a tone from the art and the color, and it's got like a sort of a, I don't know if it's like a filter over it, kind of like a feeling, and that doesn't change, like a dim city kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
although it's all suburbs and stuff, but
but it's well done. It definitely has a mood. Like I have some complaints, we'll get into it, but not they're pretty few and far between, to be honest.
This is, well, it's Eisner Award winning. I know that goes somewhere. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this book, because on the one hand, I complain about superheroes all the time, and I'm like, well, why aren't comics meh? And I kind of feel like, careful what you wish for, James, because you're going to get something like this.
Because this is an Eisner Award, so this is the best of the best thriller comic, basically, that doesn't have a superhero in it.
Yeah, and
but
the
kind of cheats a little bit.
Oh, with Slaughter, with Erica, when her little mask.
Erica Slaughter is sort of a superhero. She is some kind of metahuman with some type of psychic abilities and the ability to speak to some sort of spirit animal guide that's possessed in a stuffed animal. I'm going way far into the book here, and also apparently has some type of like. I don't know what you would call that guy with the fucking cane. A benefactor.
Right, I see what you're talking about.
A shady fucking man in the dark.
Yeah.
So like this to me is very John Wick, sort of like a metahuman, in that sort of sense. But it's a bit cheating because it's not a superhero. And her powers are sort of equated for in a weird sort of like unlock of psychic ability, latent sort of. It's on the fence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's more in the tradition of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a hop, skip, and a jump from superheroes. Like it's, I think it's a bit of a cheat. And I don't. Well, who cares, right? But like,
whatever.
Yeah. But still though, like this is not. Still, it's maybe it's suggestive to me or indicative that like even within the realms of Image, or well, actually maybe it makes sense to be in the realms of Image given Image's origin, but they publish a lot of non-superhero stuff and stuff that's like legitimately non-superhero, and the one thing that stands out within the market is something that just like kind of if you were to create a Venn diagram, like superheroes there'd be some kind of intersection, along with Buffy and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it has to be said also, Stranger Things is out 2016, and this is 2019. So this seems to be riding high in those waters. Not the same at all, because it's not running on 80s vibes, but I think it's still like young adult horror. With
a little bit of like a Goonies team feeling. Not but just like sort of
through what's that main character? The kid. What's the kid's fucking name?
Oh man, that kid James, he gets fucked.
Oh, his name's James. He strikes me as like a nerdy 80s boy. And he's got like a Batman shirt and his pajama bottoms. And he wants to go on the adventure. So like, yeah, there's not Goonies, but like something, there's a lot of real basic influences here. And I think that's why I'm although I like this book, I like to look at it. I think it's extremely legible, and which sounds like a backhanded compliment, but I think
I picked that up too. This Tynion has a nice dialogue flow. I enjoy the back and forths when characters are speaking. I find him easy to read. He's got a lot of dialogue in here, but it flows nice. Almost reminds me of I don't know, like a J.K. Rowling, Stephen King ease of reading type of that hand at writing, which is that's always a good thing, I think, to have.
Apparently, this could have been because there's not really a lot happening in this book, and it's kind of it's a testament to its ability to hold your attention, despite the fact that not really a lot is happening. There's a lot of obviously there's murders every once in a while, but which is not, again, that's not nothing either, but it manages to maintain attention with occasional moments of horror matched with sort of readable dialogue, that's a good skill.
And you're wanting to follow through. You're like, oh, new person. Oh, this is changing. And like you say, no major things are like happening, and it's like long drawn out sections, but you're with it. You're like, I want to see this through. This is interesting,
Yeah. I can't imagine reading this month to month though. Like these are.
Oh, that'd be awful. This is a collected.
Yeah.
Work.
And so I'm surprised to see the success that it's had. I was looking at the sales charts, and it starts off pretty strong, and then it kind of declines, and then it picks up again. And now it's kind of I'd say like a little hit.
I could see that.
Yeah, not a big hit because it's still it's a Boom. Actually, it's not Image, it's Boom, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Boom. Yeah.
Yeah. Pardon me.
I see the. I thought you were just contrasting it with like an Image book.
I guess I was comparing it to an Image book because it strikes me as something that Image would publish. And Boom. The fact that this is so young adult makes a lot more sense to me now that I've remembered that this is a Boom book, because that's what they, it's like Nickelodeon. Like Boom is the Nickelodeon of comics, I feel. Can't justify that exactly because I don't know their output so much, but yeah.
I you know what I mean, and I think the book itself, like if I would have picked up book 1 like as a comic, I'd have been like, oh fuck, okay, you got me. But then if I would have picked up book 2, I would have been like, this sucks my ass. And
yeah,
what is this? So that's what I mean. Like I feel like it was built to be a trade, but I can see how it's like sort of staggered in a good way. Like, you know what I mean? If you bought book 1, you'd probably show up to see where this went.
Well, 15,000 people didn't. So like if I remember the sales, it was something like 36,000 issue unit sales on issue number 1. If I'm misremembering and Wikipedia corrects me, then that's just my bad memory. I'm not looking at Wikipedia right now, but I recall that there was basically like half the orders for issue number 2. Which is not an uncommon thing. There's always going to be a drop, but that strikes me as a significant drop. And then look, like I flipped through issue 2 pretty quickly right now, and all that happens is like Erica Slaughter talks with James in a parking lot. Well, actually, some new characters introduced, who's upset about their missing sister or something like that. Talk with their mom for a bit, goes out of the house. There's a scene where they don't see the monster. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then they're at the restaurant intersecting with this fella. People are in a restaurant. Like if this is as boring as it sounds, me saying it out loud, that's because it's boring. And it's again, getting back to what we were saying about the dialogue, it's kind of a testament that I didn't close the book. It's like at no point did I groan. I plowed it through it like fucking butter. It was just so easy to read, because it doesn't demand anything of you at all. I think that's another strength and another reason for its popularity, and another reason that it's really disappointing to me is because there's no demands of this book. and it kind of makes me wonder, like, who's it for? What's its purpose? Are teens, like 15,000 teens read this, 30,000 teens read this? I can't believe that. But
I mean, the artwork is outstanding.
it really is. Yeah.
It's
Goes
so
along.
it's I don't know. I think it takes the way, and it's consistent. Man, it's consistent. My one and only complaint about the artwork and design choices. I like everybody in this. I like the mask. I like the, I don't know. I like Slaughter. I like James. I like the new guy that Slaughter baptized into their crew with a box cutter to the head.
Right.
All of it's great. I can see the crew assembling. I can see problems on the horizon. Cool ending. I don't like the monster design. I find the monster design to be very vague. And I know that's sort of alluded to in the writing, that this is something that people don't want to see, something that adults can't process anymore. Cool sort of thematic thing. I don't know. But I like when you're gonna design something like that and actually like render it, and it's just like a black blah. It looks like a fucking Minecraft monster. I'm just feel like it's a bit weak, and that there are some things that lack seeing that thing. Like, I don't know.
It is one of the least striking images. I think that's kind of a damning point. Yeah, it is. Strangely, it's one of the least striking images of the series. And we should say we only read volume 1, although I dipped into volume 2.
Oh yeah, I only have volume 1.
Where did the Kane guy come in? Did the Kane guy show up in volume 1?
Yeah, he called the cop. It was just like almost like a
just
single
a thing.
like
Yeah,
a
okay.
single panel. Like I saw his hand in a car.
Yeah.
Kane, rich finishes, sort of. Who he's gonna be,
Yeah, it's not very impressive once it happens.
That sucks.
Spoilers on that.
See, I would have kept the blanket over that
for a little while. Yeah.
For at least one more trade.
Yeah. Okay, so something's killing the children, right? And it turns out what's killing the children is invisible monsters. Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. What? That's what you got for me? Invisible monsters that, like grown-ups can't see because they're all grown up. That's what we're working with here. Like, it's so juvenile. Like, I think that's another thing about this. And again,
yeah, I mean, and it's not juvenile. There's a cave of dismembered children, like with hollowed out fucking skulls being feasted upon by a giant tarantula fucking thing. But it's it's blackness with like a red mouth. It's like it's like a child's drawing of a monster. It's annoying. You could have rendered me a fucking monster. You could have come up with a design. You did such gorgeous design work on Erica. You know what I mean? Like she's got her own sort of superhero mystique. You could do an action figure of her. That's fantastic. But I mean, even the fucking mustache cop is so vivid in my mind. I mean, you got a guy like this at the helm that can put shit together for you, and that's what you lead off with. Wah wah. I don't know.
Yeah. I bet that there's COVID masks based on this. On the face mask design, like,
geez,
I haven't
don't
looked into it. I bet there. If there's not, then I'd be. There's got to be. If I can think of it, then some other fucking brain genius thought of it like a year ago.
Yeah. You can get the COVID mask, or you can get the full wraparound mask. What do you need?
Oh, you looked it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. That's perfect. That's like the world fucking bent over and spread itself open to market for this book. I think even the gore, actually getting back to like all those bodies on the ground, like the violence is so muted. It manages to be cartoonish in a typical horror movie fashion. Like it's still very PG. Like I don't know how the ratings work exactly, but like it doesn't strike me. Nothing about this is chilling or disturbing in a really like fucked up sort of way. It's very safe horror to the extent that it's even horror. Like none of this scares me. I can't imagine a single individual who would be frightened of this who isn't a complete 10. 10, right? Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Which
that's
again,
what I mean. It's like
yeah.
it's like I mean the violence is cool. The kid's like half mutilated corpse dragging toward his buddy. James, help me.
Right.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Very
True.
cool. Cool, like it's cool violence, but it's not like I wasn't like you say I wasn't scared, and I think that was the intent a couple times.
Yeah, or at least like spooky or something like that. But I
Yeah.
don't get spooky. But there's also a quirkiness. Like all the slaughter people have like little stuffed animals that are full of Cthulhu monsters or something. And I'm sure that'll be a thing eventually. But they all have like color coded masks, and you're like, okay, so there's a Power Rangers thing somewhere with a Master
Yeah.
Wu, and
I know, yeah, and then the fucking the one stuffed animal like bullied poor James, like stop being a pussy and go in that cave with a shiv and man up, and he gets glocked in the guts. That was negative. That's not a positive thing.
Yeah.
Why is that stuffed animal such a bully?
Goddamn fucking stuffed animals.
You ought to kick that little motherfucker.
Well, James, he was upset because he, I don't know, he did some sort of thing. The whole thing, like it's fine, but it like I think when someone says like this is okay, actually no, here's kind of why I was especially disappointed recently, because I borrowed from the library a Ed Brubaker book based on a webcomic that he's been doing, and he did it with Marcos Martin. It's called Friday, and it's about these two teenage detectives. Like it's kind of in the same safe space as this is, and the art is. I know you haven't looked at it, but it was just so. Whereas these pages are so grid, it's all grids. And everything's constrained, and there's nothing busts out. There's no attempt to treat the page as itself a work of art. And one thing that this Friday book has is that the whole, like every page was a work of art, and it had beautiful coloring and beautiful penciling and beautiful inking and all that stuff. And it was comparable to this book in every respect, except that this one's so, and I used the word legible earlier as a kind of a backhanded comment, but it's like they're trying to maintain that Charlie Brown structure where like everything, there's no escape from the panels. It's very, and that's a technique, that's a choice, but it also strikes me as like it just makes everything so plain and boring and every day, and I guess that's part of the goal, to have that contrast between like those big open pages where there's monsters and stuff like that, and then the small panels. And it's not really like a grid, but no, there's often a density of information, but it's all in grid form.
It's true. Yeah. And then you open up to the horror, right?
Yeah.
And it's usually in the black and the dark.
Yeah. And that's fine. Like it has certain beats, like it operates like kind of like a drum. Like I was looking at issue 8, and it struck me as sort of similar to anything that we see earlier, although I think Tynion, as the series progresses, kind of maybe there's more of a knowledge of the beat that they were, but there's a lot of those 2-page full spreads that are used as info dumps, as spaces where you can like pack in a lot of stuff. So you have a lot of 8-page, 8-grid or 8-panel pages, or 6 to 8 panel pages. You get those 2-page spreads. You get 6 to 8 panels, 6 to 8 panels. You get a single panel. You'll get a 5. You'll get another group of full page spreads, and then you get your 5, 8, and then 1. Usually is like a splash at the end to give you that excitement, and it operates it has a drum beat kind of that. No, it's not regular exactly, but there is a beat, and it uses its structure to tell the story, and again, that's not nothing. There's obvious intelligence behind all of this, and Tynion's like, this is fine, this is competent. I can't really fault it for being I can only fault it for being not as good as I want it to be. Because it's young adult fiction about monsters in the woods, invisible monsters.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I can see why I didn't buy this.
Well, you know what though? I mean, in terms of being young adult fiction about monsters in the woods, I mean, you can't do it much better than this. If that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, it's like that's what's so frustrating about it. Like, it's everything I want in comics, but absolutely not what I want in comics. Just because of its pedestrianness, it feels like it's just trying to sell a Netflix series. And I know that's probably very unfair to Tynion and Tynion. They just happen to be successful within that realm, but it still feels that way to me.
Yeah.
And I would feel more that was the case if the art wasn't and the coloring weren't really actually kind of exceptional.
True. I like their cover artists too. I don't know if did you get a chance to see covers?
Yeah, I think I in the back. Yeah. Like even the guest artists and it's all within the same sort of tradition. You got your Jay Lee. That's not obviously within the tradition, but it's usually Werther Dell'Edera with some other person coloring. It's the usual bag of people I would expect to be doing covers for a book like this. I
like Ian Bertram's cover too.
Oh man, Ian, I don't know. We have to find a book with Ian Bertram to talk about, because I like that guy's work a lot.
I'd love to see a full book of his work.
Yeah. There's House of Penance. I think he's the House of Penance guy. I forget who did that though. I want to say it's a Peter Milligan. Maybe I'm totally.
Don't get me excited.
Yeah, it might be. It's someone. I think it's a name. It's a name of some sort. It might not be Milligan. So, audience, you tell us.
Don't quote. Yeah, don't quote us on that. Yeah. Only true moment of horror I found was when Tommy found the eaten top armless torso of his baby sister coddled in the cave. That was pretty bad. That was a bit dark. I was like, oh Christ almighty. And he's like snatched it up and I'm like, that's just fucking with the milky eye and like fully eaten. No mercy from the writer there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there he is doing it right there too.
Yeah, and then even Erica Slaughter's like, we'll come back for the bodies, no worries, we'll get some burials later on.
Yeah. Like, and that's when she stabs him in the head with whatever the fuck Erica. That is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Something is killing the children. It's not bad. It kind of makes me worried that this is what wins Eisner's though. Not that I give a shit about what constitutes the winning of an Eisner.
Yeah, like for me though, did it win an Eisner? Best New Series. I thought it was a nominee.
Best writer 2021, 2022. Maybe, but if I'm wrong about that, then please correct me. But I thought that's what I read.
That's a lot. I you know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna hear like cry or sing the song of my people for something I thought was better from 2020, I couldn't pin something down for you right now. I could later if you give me a minute. But I find it difficult to imagine. Yeah, for me, I don't. I mean, the thing with the Eisner Award is like that's supposed to be like if you dole out that award, I assume that it would be like the top tits, and this is not that.
No, it's not. It's
great. It's great. I think it's very good. I read a lot of worse stuff than this all the time. But like, I don't know. I fucking like a stray Garth Ennis Avatar book is typically better than this.
Yeah.
And that's not me being a dick. That it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
Yeah, yeah.
Garth's already won too many Eisners. I don't know. Maybe does the Academy not like Garth? Don't know any of that. Not sure.
Yeah. I think like it is a complete package, and I guess we'd have to look at the landscape. But I find it difficult to believe that in the year 2021 and 2022, like this was the best writing. Like, I can't fathom that. There's nothing. There's no subtext to this. Like fuck it, fuck you, literature student who thinks that they can detect some sort of like clever thing happening here.
There's
nothing.
not. Honestly, that's why I said early on that I felt like it was very J.K. Rowling-ish in terms of like easy readability. You're not going deep. You're giving me it all. I'm getting a clear, concise, one-dimensional story. You're not I don't need you and Chris for this one.
That's exactly it. The most clever thing that like I detected early on was like, okay, so it's called Something is Killing the Children, and it starts off with a monster, an invisible monster that parents can't see killing children, and then later on, the tables are turned. It's discovered that the monster that it's invisible is a mother, and it has given birth to children, and now those children must be murdered, and so something is killing the children, and I'm like, okay, well, fucking bravo. I guess that stopped me from being completely bored. But yeah, it's a
just let me pat myself on the back for that one. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting to me. Like, again, I've never valued the Eisners because they've never produced an award. Generally speaking, I understand, like Astro City won Eisners, and not that that's like a high benchmark or anything, but it to me it's like the Academy Awards, and I don't understand what the criteria are exactly.
Me either. Like House of X, like leapfrogs over this and teabags it on the way over.
Well, some of it does. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, and it's not even great.
No, it's not. So I just don't know what the criteria are. I don't know what they're looking for in the Academy. Like, are they just looking for pure cartooning and because again, like it's a good union of art and words. It's extremely legible. It's compelling, it's not exciting to me anyway. But it is a thing that you could sit down and just kind of read and not be disappointed with having read. And I guess that counts as a win, because is it really so bad out there? Is it really so fucking bad?
I feel like we're giving this a hard a hard ride a bit.
We are, and I think that gets back to the beginning.
But I think it's because of the award. I think
so.
Didn't win an Eisner.
Yeah.
We'd be like, this was great.
Yeah, I'd just be like, okay, great, this happened.
But I was like, wait a sec, this was great, but it got an award for being the best. So take a fucking deep breath here and wait just a second.
Yeah. I would, if anyone asked me for a recommendation for a comic for a teenager who kind of likes comics but also likes Stranger Things, this is a no-brainer. Read this book. You get on board right now. Ride the train. I don't know where it's going. Who cares? It's not for me. But I can't, I can't fault it. I can't really fault it for anything. But again, I'll just repeat myself. I could only fault it for being not as good as I want it to be. And that's not.
I actually grabbed this at Indigo one time when I was there with the girls. We were goofing around. I was like, I'm getting myself a comic, and I saw this on an end cap, and I was like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
something's killing the children. Okay, what's killing
Mm-hmm.
the children?" I grabbed it. I gave it the old college flip through. I was like, "Art looks great. You can come home with me." And
Yeah.
and then I got something okay.
Yeah. That's it. That's it's a good review. So I guess what we're, it's not a David S. Goyer. We can't say that, so we can't give it the seal of approval.
Yeah, don't be putting fucking, this is good, but don't be putting gold stamps on it. Just
Yeah.
Now, all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.